Hi folks, my name is Jen. I'm an author and a book reviewer, and I was just about to start filming my Christmas gift guide in my office, but I thought, given the terrible winter light, that really what I should do is go and put up the Christmas tree and film the video in front of the Christmas tree. We may be backlit, but at least we'll be cozy. So I'm gonna go put up the Christmas tree and I'll see you in what will be for you 1 second and for me might be quite some time. Be right back. Okay, it's a little while later. I've put up the Christmas tree. I love these decorations, especially this little wooden guy here, and also, where is it? This guy here, which is Santa in a hot air balloon, which I'm hoping you can see. It's probably blurry and out of focus, but as I said earlier, I hope that that is cozy. I've put on a red jumper because that feels festive, and I'm sitting over here so that I can insert book covers and talk to you about lots of things. If you're new to my channel, as I said, my name is Jen. I'm an author, a book reviewer. I was a bookseller for over 10 years. I've written over, well, how many books have I written? 15, I think, 15 books at this point, and recommending books is one of my favorite things. And I have been talking about books on this channel for over 10 years now as well. And what I do every year, excuse me while I open a document on my phone, I ask you if you have any gift conundrums. Like, Jen, I want to buy a gift for my mum. She likes X, Y, and Z. What should I get her? And then I answer as many of those in this video as I can. And hopefully it will provide general recommendations too, even if I'm not answering your specific questions, because there were hundreds of questions, so I can't get to all of them. I'll get to as many as I can. And if you still feel like you don't have an idea for a specific person in your life by the end of this video, leave a comment down below, ask a question, and I'll try and answer there. As this video goes up, if you're watching it the day it goes up, which is the 30th of November, tomorrow over on Patreon, I'm starting Vlogmas, where I'm uploading a video every day from the 1st to the 24th of December, a bit like an advent calendar where we have a chat. So if you want to join me for that, you can. It's $2 or £2 for the entire month, linked in the description. And I'll also just be uploading more videos on here as well. This video is also sponsored by Serious Readers. We'll talk about that in a bit. Let's dive in to the questions. So firstly, Jen, my mum, who is now happily retired, is a dog mum and lady who has a walking crew of retirees. I love this. She loves true crime and easy reads like Richard Osman's Thursday Murder Club. Any recommendations would be fab. I mean, I assume that she's read Janice Hallett, The Appeal. That seems like a very obvious recommendation, but if she hasn't, then obviously that, which is a crime book told in a series of emails, letters, texts, and you have to work it out yourself. If she has read that, then I'd recommend something like House of Correction by Nikki French, which is about a woman who has been sent to prison for something she believes she didn't do, and she decides she's going to try and collect evidence and represent herself. It's a little bit stressful, but also fun? Question mark? I would also recommend Silent House by Nell Patterson, which is the first in a trilogy, but also works as a standalone. We are following a deaf family after one of the members of that family was killed, and the main character is the interpreter for this family, and it's written by a deaf person, so we've got own voice deaf representation in there. Content warning for child death in that, but it is a really wonderful series. The second one is set at Christmas, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, yes. Okay, so when I put up this post, my example was, hey Jen, I need a book for someone, they love lesbians in space. And someone replied saying, I actually do love lesbians in space. I'm vaguely aware that it's been a good year for that, but I've only read the Taylor Jenkins Reid one, so any others would be nice. Sorry to be a little on the nose. P.S. Any other lesbians doing sciencey things or geographical exploration would be appreciated. So I haven't read this one, but there is Eliella Ramage's To the Moon and Back, which seemed to be quite big this year, which is lesbians in space. I would also recommend On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden, which is a graphic novel, which didn't come out this year, but still worth mentioning. And then In Ascension by Martin McInnes is a more like literary lesbians in space, and I kind of link that with Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield, which is not about lesbians in space, it's about lesbians going to the deep, deep ocean, but I feel like those things are actually quite similar. Yes? I hope so. Then we've got Jen. My niece will be 13 next year. She's in the Vance Reader group at school, avid reader. They did Pride and Prejudice last year. I know she loves manga and I have a feeling she likes Japanese culture. I got her a My Hero Academia volume at the suggestion of her parents earlier in the year. She loves Heartstopper and Alice Osman, but has already read all that are appropriate for her age group. I would recommend a couple of, I guess they're classed as middle grade graphic novels, but they work for older kids and also for adults too. Like, I love them, so I don't think they would feel young, it is what I mean. So something like The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill, or Sato the Rabbit. Sato the Rabbit is Japanese because you mentioned that she likes Japanese culture. And there's also Temple Alley Summer by Shijiko Kashiwaba, which is a Japanese graphic novel which got a lot of love. And if she loves Japanese culture, maybe she's getting into Studio Ghibli, in which case you could give her something like Howl's Moving Castle, which is obviously by Diana Wynne Jones and is not Japanese, but would be something she could read before watching the film, and they're quite different, and that could be something that you could chat about if you wanted to do so. Jen, my sister is in her last year of university studying sociology and minoring in English. She liked Normal People by Sally Rooney and Never Let Me Go by Kazu Ishiguro, and she's also read Clara and the Sun. She likes music by David Bowie and Fleetwood Mac, loves to watch films with her friends. She works at a movie theatre too. Something cinematic or literary for her, please. So Children of Paradise by Camilla Godrova is a book that was longlisted for the Women's Prize a couple of years ago and is about someone called Holly who works at an independent cinema in Edinburgh, and it has lots of film references in it, and it's quite, I'm going to say, feral and fun, so I feel like she would enjoy that. But then if she has also enjoyed Never Let Me Go, I'd recommend The Book of Guilt by Catherine Chidgey, which has a very similar feel to it, and also The Hierarchies by Ros Anderson, which is a dystopian book that I fell in love with a couple of years ago. Jen, my friend loves two different genres of book, and I wondered if there was anything that brought the two together. On the one hand, she loves big, epic family sagas such as Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, Hello Beautiful, The Heart's Invisible Furies, Still Life, and The Dutch House. I thought The Bee Sting could be a good gift idea. It could. However, on the other hand, she also loves a cozy crime such as Richard Osman's 2 series, Agatha Christie, Lucy Foley, etc., etc. Anything you can think of that brings the two together would be super helpful. I really loved River East, River West by Aubrey de Scuur when I read it a couple of years ago, which is a family saga but has a mystery element to it. There was a book that came out either this year or last year called Flashlight by Susan Choi, which was longlisted or shortlisted, or I can't remember. Anyway, it was on the Booker this year, and I read all of the Booker books, and I enjoyed that one too. And I mention it because it has a similar feel to River East, River West, but had more of a mystery element to it as well as a family saga. But I actually prefer River East, River West. So that would be my overall recommendation. But also maybe Notes on a Scandal by Zoe Heller, because we are following a family in that, but it is also a crime book. Or at least a psychological thriller, and it's one I've gone back to time and time again, and I hadn't reread it for years until recently and was worried it wouldn't live up to my memory, but it did, and it's great. It's about a woman called Barb who has worked as a teacher at this secondary school for ages, and then a new teacher starts and she falls in love with her and becomes completely obsessed with her and her family and writes about her in her diary, and it is superb. There is a film which is also brilliant with Cate Blanchett and Judi Dench, but the book itself, so good. Jen, I'm looking for a non-fiction recommendation for my 10-year-old niece. Might I recommend our book Owning It, Tales from Our Disabled Childhoods? This is a collection of 22 stories by disabled writers who were once also disabled children. So we're looking at, when I say stories, I mean stories from our lives. So real experiences. We're looking at school, we're looking at family life. Some of the stories are funny, some of them are not funny. Just go on a whole roller coaster ride of emotions with us. I'm so proud of this book. And if any of you watching would like to purchase a copy to gift to someone for Christmas, that would be lovely. Or maybe just gift a copy to yourself. We have recently put together some teaching resources as well. So if you happen to be a teacher or you would like to recommend this book to a teacher who works in a school that your kid goes to, for instance, you could send them a link to the teaching notes. There's a presentation and resources. I'll link it in the description box down below. But yeah, this is for middle grade readers, so 8 to 12, 13 upwards, and we've put so much love into this. So yes, if you haven't checked it out before, a little extra shout out for that. Before I speak about more books, as I mentioned earlier, this video is very kindly sponsored by Serious Readers. So we're going to jump back to my past, slightly dishevelled self to hear her speak for 2 minutes. Hi, I just got back from playgroup and haven't actually looked at myself. I'm feeling quite dishevelled. Also, what is this, please? She's nearly 2. Why am I getting this delayed postpartum regrowth? It's giving like 90s boy band. Anyway, hi. I am on my sofa to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Serious Readers. They are very kindly sponsoring some videos over the autumn, winter months, and I've been working with them for the last 5 years, and I just love what they do and what they make, and what they make. They're lights. They're here. This is one of them here. This is in, get my words out. This is a high definition light. It is a floor light. You can adjust the height and also the brightness of the bulb. They invented something called daylight wavelengths technology, which mimics daylight as best as possible, which is amazing, which means I can read more comfortably for longer. It's also really handy for reading with the little one before bed, because we do that down here before going upstairs. At the moment, I'm reading this, which is Sea Change by Gina Chung. I was listening to this on audiobook. I got it out on audio from the library, but I didn't get around to it in time, and it's gone back to the library. So I'm reading it in physical form now. I'll insert a clip to show the light in action. But yeah, I love this light so much. You know that because I've been talking about this light for a very long time. But in case you're new, or maybe this has piqued your interest this time, go and check them out. I will leave a link in the description box down below. They're a small UK based company. They make all their lights here in the UK, and if you use my code Jen, then you can get £150 off a high definition essential or high definition pro light. They also do a 5-year warranty and an extended 90-day risk-free trial of their HD Pro light at the moment. They have lots of different models. Go and check them out. They're wonderful. Thank you very much to them for sponsoring this video. Hi Jen, I have a selfish recommendation request. That's fine. I have just had my first baby, congratulations, and would love to get her a book for Christmas this year that we can reread every year at Christmas time to start a tradition. I have a copy of A Christmas Carol already. Wondered if you had any ideas a bit more outside the box. I'd love to get a special edition format to make it a special book. Thank you. Well, I would go for a childhood classic rather than a grown-up classic, because then you can enjoy them while she's young and then also go back to them and have that nostalgic feel as an adult. So, I mean, this one is very on the nose. This is The Jolly Christmas Postman. We've got this one out from the library at the moment. And for anyone who's watching who's looking for Christmassy books for their little ones, go to your library because they have amazing Christmas selections. So yeah, this is, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but a collection of letters from like fairy tale characters, links in with things like Each Peach Pear Plum, but this is a Christmas edition and is a lot of fun, and then you can revisit it. I remember revisiting that one as a kid myself. Robert Sabuda also has some amazing Christmas pop-up books. I think I bought one for Lauren over at Lauren the Books years ago, but they are something pretty epic and special. I would also recommend something like The Restless Girls by Jessie Burton, which is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses and is super cozy and Christmassy and lovely, and that would be excellent to curl up with at this time of year. I had other requests actually for Christmas books for children, so a couple that we are really loving at the moment. 2 of them are library books and 2 are ones that we own. So Penguin do this series on festivals. We've had the one for Eid and Hanukkah out before, and Ramadan. So this one is the Christmas one, and you can learn about Christmas, and my little one is really enjoying this one at the moment. And then there's this, which is gorgeous. This is the 12 Days of Christmas by Jane Ray. So obviously it is the song, The 12 Days of Christmas, but it has these wonderful illustrations in, and it's just stunning. Let me find you another double page spread. I love this one. This is The 8 Maids Are Milking. So chaotic. Love that. And then the two that we own, we've got The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. I believe that this is the first ever children's picture book in the States with a black protagonist, which was published in the 60s. And it's about Peter, who wakes up one day and finds that it has snowed overnight. So he goes outside to investigate and has a lovely time. But he's very sad the next day when he wakes up and realizes that the snowball that he'd put in his pocket for safekeeping has disappeared and he's not sure where it's gone. And a recent release is The House with the Little Red Door by Grace Easton. This is published by Thames Hudson, who are one of my children's publishers. And they also publish Mouse's Wood by Alice Melvin. It has a similar feel to that if you've read and enjoyed that, but it's about a mouse who lives in this beautiful house inside this tree. So it has all of these little rooms inside. He sleeps inside a sardine tin. The mouse's house is in the garden of this house where this girl lives, and both the mouse and the girl are quite lonely, and then they happen to discover each other. It's very wholesome and lovely and very wintry. Someone said that their son, I think it was, is really into Goodnight Moon, and did I have any other recommendations? I would say Maurice Sendak has that level of creepy, but a more obscure one that I wanted to recommend that I definitely think has Goodnight Moon vibes is this one here, which is called In the Half Room by Carson Ellis. And it's delightful, but also just really quite creepy. So it's about a room where there is half a chair and half a hat and half a window, half a door, half a rug on the floor. So, you know, if you know Goodnight Moon, you'll see why this is clearly taking inspiration from that in the best way possible. The light of the half moon shines down on the half room, and then there is half a cat, and the cat has to find the other half of itself, as does the woman who lives there, and they stick themselves together. Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing that I think might cause some children to have nightmares, but I think is wonderful. And I think if your son enjoys Goodnight Moon, then they will probably like this one too. Next up, hi Jen, would you have any recommendations for engaging and fast-paced reads? Ideally something short. My sister wants to read more. She likes mystery and thriller genres, but has dyslexia and ADHD, so reading can be a challenge to get into. I didn't love this book, but I know lots of other people did and has been a huge bestseller, so I think this is just a me thing. But Strange Pictures by Ketsu, it has illustrations, drawings in it, and is crime thriller. You have to try and solve it yourself. It's Japanese translated fiction, so maybe that. Also, if you're not familiar with it, Bloomsbury brought out a series of books, I think this year, called their dyslexia-friendly editions. So check those out. I think there's a Stuart Turton in there, and also a Kylie Reid, so some fast-paced books with dyslexia-friendly formatting inside them. So yeah, I will link that in the description box down below. My granddaughter is 9 and loves books, but is struggling with reading. She's in that in-between stage where she wants to read novels, but they can't be too long or she might not finish them. She loves fairies, unicorns, and horses. Any ideas for early reading / learning to read short novels? Thanks. How about Neon Secret Universe by Chevelle Pounder? Chevelle's writing in general is just very funny and endearing, and I'm sure that she would enjoy that one. Jen, my 8-year-old loves exploring outside. Any recommendations? Yes, I got these down from the shelf so I could hold them up. So Thames and Hudson have published a series of field guides, so you could get the whole set if you wanted. There's one for each season. So in each book, let me hold up the winter one, given that's where we are, you can find a list of things to look out for when you go out exploring. But then also it talks about what winter is and what causes it, and there are songs and poems that relate to the season. In this one, there's a guide to noticing constellations, given it is, you know, dark so early, and you can make your own constellation lantern if you so wish. These are by Gabby Dornay and they're illustrated by Dorian Browers, and I just think that it's a really, really lovely series to get into. Hi Jen, a recommendation for my brother-in-law please. He's a scientist / astronomer astronomer. Loves horror films and Japanese culture. Thank you. So last year, Vintage released a collection of Japanese ghost stories called The Snow Ghost, and it just looks beautiful, like a really lovely book to gift. But I'd also recommend Beautiful Star, which is by Yukio Mishima, which I read last year or the year before, and is about a family in Japan, and each of them believe that they're from a different planet. It's dystopian and strange. If he likes John Wyndham, then he'll probably like it. Yes, that would be another recommendation for that. Hi Jen, my friend loves fantasy books for children and teens that aren't too dark or cruel. She really liked Nevermore. The Chronicles of Weatherwhite by Anna James. I would recommend that for anyone who's looking for something like Nevermore, or, you know, that kind of vein of wizard school goodness, because it is quite different, while still having that, you know, that warmth and linking into other books that we may feel nostalgia towards. And it's about the magic system where people are linked with particular seasons. So you might have magic that's associated with autumn, and just so wholesome and lovely. The second one just came out. Jen, my friend is obsessed with London, cats, and appreciates dark humour. I'm going to recommend Blue Monday by Nikki French, which is the first in the Frida Klein series, because it's so epically London. Frida loves walking around London. I would love, if I had the time, and maybe in the future I will, I just don't at the moment, I would love to do a series of vlogs where I show you all of the bits of London that Frida goes to and all the walks that she does, because I don't know, it just feels so special to me. So I would recommend that. Jen, I would like spooky, cozy, hide under the blanket recommendation. Please. No and Other Love Stories by Kirsty Logan is deliciously dark and bitey. What was that? It's bitey. Jen, my sister likes literary fiction and mermaids. She loved Chlorine and The Mermaid of Black Conch. The Sea Woman by Chloe Timms, which is dystopian. I would recommend for, you know, fans of The Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that. Jen, I would like Rex for a kid who likes to know all the things. Okay, how about something like The Book of Dirt, which is just so wonderful. This is a smelly history of human hygiene, and the illustration in this, like the print quality, is absolutely ridiculous. It's just full colour all the way through. It is a hefty book, and it talks about, as the title would suggest, how people kept clean or did not keep clean, and all the problems that arose because of that. What are toilets like in space? I had 2 requests for recommendations for new mums, congratulations, who are finding that they don't have the time to read. Firstly, there are so many things to do apart from reading, and if they're not stressing about it, then that's fine, and they shouldn't be stressing about it. There are so many things to be getting on with, but if they want to be reading more, audiobooks are definitely the way to go. They were for me. I found that I could listen to audiobooks during contact naps and stuff like that. But also, if you want to gift a physical copy, that would be great too. To bring all of these things together, I basically want to recommend Holly Bourne's So Thrilled for You. It has hopeful elements of motherhood, but also looks at the brutal nature of it as well, but in a really humorous way. So for instance, I read Soldier Sailor by Claire Kilroy when I was 3 months postpartum, and that probably wasn't the best idea, because that is about nitty-gritty motherhood, but in the trenches, and just, it was a lot. Whereas So Thrilled for You also has those things in it, but is a much more light-hearted way of looking at it, which will make you feel a bit of relief too. I listened to this one on audio, but I'm sure it's brilliant in physical form as well. It's about 4 friends who get together for a baby shower, and they're all at various different parts, you know, of their life. Like, one of them is about to give birth because it's their baby shower, one of them's going through IVF, one of them doesn't want to have kids, and one of them has recently had a child and is struggling. Yeah, it's a brilliant, hilarious book. Recommend. Jen, help, my friend loves litfic with lyrical prose, but I need more under-the-radar gems. Freak's Law by Jane Flett. I did the authenticity sensitivity read regarding disability for this. It is a really fun, gritty look at a freak show that opens, and it's, I don't really want to say more than that, but it's about how the local town reacts to this show coming to their area, and yeah, I really enjoyed reading it. And I'd also recommend The Snow Collectors by Tina May Hall, which is a very strange book to describe because it's bringing together lots of different elements. It's really fragmented, but also very beautiful. I would recommend Googling it and reading an extract and just seeing if the prose appeals to you. That's probably the best thing that you could do, because I couldn't really give you a blurb because it is just a bit out there, but I think that might be what you're looking for. Jen, I want a book for myself about lots of lives in a small town. People from My Neighborhood by Hiromi Kawakami, which is a Japanese palm of the hand collection of stories, so short flash fiction about all the different members of a town, which is what you want. So that is what I would recommend. Jen, I want a book for me. I recently loved Mrs. Caliban, Pet, Mrs. March, short, snappy books, things like Passing by Nella Larson, which is a brilliant classic, which really gets under your skin, and In the Driver's Seat by Muriel Spark, which follows a woman unraveling over the course of a day. Jen, I want a graphic novel that explores challenging themes for me / my students. I mean, Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi is a very obvious recommendation, but I'm going to say that one if you haven't read that one with your students already. Or maybe a graphic novel / memoir that explores disability, something like Dancing After 10 by Vivian Chong, or something like A Puff of Smoke by Sarah Lepet. Give those ones a Google, see if they are for you. Jen, do you have any audiobook recommendations with a good narrator? My mum likes cozy mysteries, not too murdery. T.M. Logan's books, definitely those, because they're narrated by Richard Armitage. You're welcome. Jen, a folklore horror like Knock Knock Open Wide for a Dear Friend. Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rainford, which is about a father and a daughter who bury people in their back garden and heal them. It's creepy. Enjoy. My friend likes literary fiction, heart-wrenching stories, and translated fiction. Maybe something like The Pachinko Parlor by Elijah Suar-Duspan, which is translated from the French by Anissa Abbas Higgins, which is about a granddaughter who's staying with her grandparents in Tokyo. Her grandparents are Korean. She wants to take them back to Korea. They are reluctant to do so. And it's a really haunting, beautiful read. Jen, my dad likes non-fiction topics such as history of food and maps. Basically all of Ed Brooke Hitchings' books. I will insert some of the covers here. They are mostly about maps and they are brilliant and full of interesting facts. Ed works on QI and knows all the stuff. Jen, my friend misses living in the UK and likes comforting reads. Persephone Books. They are based in Bath. They are a publishing house and also they have a bookshop, and they have very cozy nostalgia feel to them. A lot of the books that they publish are from, say, the 1950s-ish, written by women, forgotten classics, and a lot of them feel very, I guess, English, especially something like Doreen by Barbara Noble, which is about a young girl who's evacuated from London to the countryside during the Second World War, and Barbara Noble has had experience of living through the Blitz herself. You could get them, your friend, a Persephone catalogue with a voucher, and then they can choose which book they would like. Or if you want something that's particularly English and nostalgic, something like Barbara Noble's book, but also maybe The Fortnight in September by R.C. Sheriff, which is about a family who go on holiday to the English seaside in September, and it is just an absolute joy. And finally, Jen, my boyfriend doesn't read much fiction, but he loved 1984. Maybe something by John Wyndham, like The Midwich Cuckoos, which is about a town where everyone falls asleep and wakes up and the women are pregnant and no one knows why. Creepy. Very, very creepy, and felt very ahead of its time, actually, when I read it. So those are my recommendations. I hope that was helpful. If you would like any more recommendations, do leave a comment down below with a question and I'll try and get back to you. Thank you very much to Serious Readers for sponsoring this video. And as I said at the beginning, I am doing Vlogmas over on Patreon from tomorrow as this video is uploaded. From the 1st to the 24th of December, I'll be uploading a short video over on Patreon where I'm just chatting with you, and it's $2 or £2 for the whole month. If you would like to join me, that is linked in the description box. I am sending lots of love to you all, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.